What if I told you that there is a Nickelodeon movie so terrifying it aired only once, then vanished? On October 28th, 2000, a new movie was scheduled to premiere on Snick. Snick was Nickelodeon's 2-hour block that aired on weekends and was geared toward older audiences. And Melissa Joan Hart was the host for the premiere of a new film called Crybaby Lane. Nickelodeon even insisted that Frank Langella, the guy who played Dracula, play the Undertaker in this movie because they felt it would really help with publicity for the film, so they were pretty dedicated to the success of this movie. However, Crybaby Lane aired one time and was never aired again. Theories began, people dedicated blogs to finding this movie. Speaking of theories, I have many about today's sponsor, Love and Pies. Love and Pies is a cozy mobile game that I genuinely cannot stop playing. Every time I get a little time in the day, I've replaced my usual scrolling that ends up being way too long with playing a little bit of L&P. It's just too easy to pick up and start baking, baby. My routine is I bake, I progress the story, I customize my cafe, and then I continue my day. My favorite part of the game is the story, who follows single mom Amelia and her daughter who moved back to her hometown because her mom's bakery burnt down to the ground. And now her mom is missing. Yes, I have several theories about this, and we're not just baking. We're investigating. Amelia is dead set on clearing her mom's name because everyone in town thinks she burnt it down herself and then ran away. Everyone except Uncle Sven and her ex-lover Joe, who I think is still very much in love with Amelia. They help Amelia reach the goal of rebuilding the cafe and getting business booming. I have to say my cafe may be featured in Architectural Digest soon. I recently added a cute little pink kitchen that I'm obsessed with. You get to choose and customize how your cafe is going to look as you progress the game. The baking mechanics of the game involve matching ingredients so that you can bake pies and other baked goods and serve them to your customers. So join me and build up your own cafe because hey, it's free on iOS and Android. Full-on internet investigations began, which was fueled by a popular creepypasta, which claimed they worked on the film, but the director was so insane and the concept of the film was so horrifying that they had to leave. And then Nickelodeon swiftly buried it after its initial broadcast. Crybaby Lane was gaining a cult following on the internet. The WWW. Why'd I say that? 11 years later, this cult following exploded into a full-on internet obsession when someone posted on the popular subreddit, Today I Learned Nickelodeon released a TV movie in 2000 that was so scary they only aired it once. It is now considered a lost film. I don't know what would be considered viral on Reddit, but I do think that this was quite close to what viral could be on Reddit. A lot of people claim they worked at Nickelodeon, some saying that they saw it on the post schedule and it was confirmed that this movie did air and it is real. Others saying that this isn't lost media. They can easily access it. They work at Nickelodeon. Redditors shared theories, dissected their own memories from watching the film, and speculated why the film vanished. It was mostly just a classic frenzy on Reddit of people just theorizing, wondering, pondering. That's what I love about Reddit. People are just there to yap. And then, a now deleted user posted, I have a copy of Crybaby Lane that I recorded on VHS. Oh! This changed everything. Reddit users offered up their VHS players, whether they lived in the UK, the US, wherever. They were like, I will ship you a VHS player and tell you everything you need to know to digitize this so that we can get access and watch Crybaby Lane. Other people, of course, were much more skeptical and claimed that this person was just wanting 15 minutes of internet fame and they actually didn't have a copy, because what are the odds that someone would record a premiere of a movie that they've never seen before on their VHS? I do have a VHS of the High School Musical premiere, so it does happen, but people were skeptical. And then, deleted user posted a shaky cell phone clip of the film, which reignited the fire. But shortly after this was posted to YouTube, it was deleted. And then the person who posted it deleted their Reddit account. Soon, the theories about Crybaby Lane morphed into theories about the Reddit user. People were saying Nickelodeon was so desperate to sweep Crybaby Lane under the rug that they went after this Reddit user. Some people claimed legally, others claimed physically. And of course, it got a little crazy. So the hype on the Today I Learned thread kind of died, and people kind of gave up. Then, on one fateful day, a post appeared on the now defunct reddit.com subreddit with the simple words, "You guys have no faith," with a download link to Crybaby Lane. This did feel like such a pivotal moment in internet history where an anonymous person said that they were going to do something and then they actually did it. Quite rare. especially because people dedicated a lot of time to finding this movie. And just from seeing this Reddit post, they remembered they had a copy of Crybaby Lane on a VHS. And because of Reddit, this film that was considered lost media was found. It was found media, baby. So lucky for us, we're now able to watch Crybaby Lane on youtube.com. This entire piece of lore about Crybaby Lane intrigued me, and I needed to see this for myself. I needed to find out, how scary is this movie? Will it alter me as a person, as people said? Grab a little drink, grab maybe some popcorn, grab a little snack, and let's discuss the alleged scariest movie in Nickelodeon history.
Here comes Nick's original movie, Crybaby Lane.
So we immediately start the film with a scary story with this creepy old man voice talking about a farmer whose wife gave birth to conjoined twins.
The infants joined as one flesh and came into this world freaks.
Okay. Get you someone who can match your freak. No. Shh. Shh. The farmer was so ashamed of his conjoined twin sons that he locked them away. And it soon became very clear that one of the twins was good and one of the twins was evil.
Now it happened that one of the twins fell ill, and because they shared the same liver, the illness quickly spread and they both perished. Not wanting to expose his shame, the farmer decided to unjoin the bodies.
Huh? He cut his conjoined twin children apart. He gave the good son a proper burial at a cemetery. Yeah, that's the word. And he brought the evil son and buried him at a place called Crybaby Lane. Oh my God, that's the name of the movie.
Anyone caught out there at night on that desolate road can hear the cries of the evil child.
So the guy who literally played Dracula is the one telling the story here, and he is the village undertaker.
An undertaker lives a life of intrigue, boys.
And he's telling the story to two brothers, Andrew and Carl. You know, totally normal for two kids just to be hanging out with the village undertaker. Nothing unusual, nothing unusual. It's just kind of the vibes. It's kind of the 90s, okay? So Andrew and Carl then finish up the story, ride their bikes home at night, which is always a good sign to be riding your bikes home at night in a scary movie, to an absolute banger song, might I add. Andrew's having a little bit of a scary dream. He's having kind of a nightmare, a little bit of a nightmare. Andrew's having a bad dream, which involves bugs, corn, and crying.
No way. Mom?
And his dad's like, get out of here.
You're not sleeping in here.
His dad is kind of a rude man, not pleased with the dad's behavior. Carl is really pissed that Andrew is acting like a little bitch and is explaining to Andrew that it's his job as older brother to teach him about life.
My job, as I see it, is to teach you how to live.
And in order to teach Andrew about life, he explains to Andrew that life's a little bit like wrestling. Not wrestling in the sense of like where they're actually wrestling, but in like a WrestleMania type of way. Also kind of obsessed with the Undertaker motif we have. They literally have an Undertaker poster, and the Undertaker did run my life at one point as well, so I'm not even judging them. I did believe the Undertaker was a divine entity in the world, so it does kind of make sense why Carl is explaining that life is a little bit like wrestling, because wrestling was a little bit like religion to young children. Also, WrestleMania, is it kind of having a comeback? Am I crazy? I've been seeing TikToks about WrestleMania. We don't have to talk about that, but
You can't see him anymore! Attitude!
Andrew, for some reason, to me, is acting like he's been possessed by a 55-year-old man.
The Lord of the Rings is fiction, Hall.
His demeanor is just very elderly. So Hull is Andrew's younger friend, and they like to do some like little Dungeons and Dragons make-believe type of play. But now Andrew's too cool for that. Hull, by the way, obsessed with Hull. Kind of love his vibe, kind of love everything about Hull. I think that he is actually more grounded and intelligent than anyone else in the rest of this movie.
Who peed in your cornflakes? I'm sorry, I gotta go.
I love how he's just like, yeah, who peed in your cornflakes, Andrew? We're literally just having fun. Can you maybe chill out? It seems that Andrew is just having an existential crisis about who he is as a person. And Carl is giving him the silent treatment because he's mad that Andrew is being a kid. He also just ripped up Andrew's homework.
Carl, I'll make it up to you, right?
Evil behavior. And Andrew's begging for Carl's forgiveness. And Carl's like, okay, you can help me with something, I guess. And then we can, I won't be mad at you anymore if you help me with this. Carl has a plan to go to the cemetery and then do a seance for the good twin, who was the conjoined one who got cut off from his brother's body, to raise him from the dead. I think that was the goal. In an effort to pull this prank on the girls and scare them, they accidentally do curse the entire town. I do think Carl's one true love in this world will be wrestling. Anything else about Carl, we don't know.
Maybe the seance worked.
Oh, yeah, maybe I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Then what was it?
I don't want to talk about it.
So one of the creepy things in this movie are going to be worms, unfortunately for me, because worms do... I just think... I made a video about Brink, and in the movie, the villain in the movie has a worm sandwich, and I still can't even think about it. So now I see worms, and it makes me sick. The Undertaker notices that there's something amiss in the cemetery. And there's a dog barking at nothing. And you want to know what's bad? Is when a dog's barking at nothing, okay? Anytime my dog barks at nothing, I lose my mind. It's scary when a dog is barking at a wall. And then the dog attacks the graveyard caretaker. There is something a little bit toxic masculine about Mr. Carl.
Men do not dress like stupid hobbits. Men take what they want and leave the others bleeding on the turnbuckle.
Do I wish he gets possessed so he can learn a lesson or two? No, I would never wish that on anybody. It's important to know that Carl and Andrew's mom is pissed at the Undertaker and does not want Andrew and Carl to be going over there to hear these scary stories anymore, because it's affecting Andrew especially, and he's having all these bad dreams. Also, the Undertaker and the mom have a little bit of lore. There's something deeper there.
I don't like you.
I guess you're really upset with me about your mom's funeral, huh? Well, look, it was an honest mistake, Anne. She wasn't presentable.
Don't mess around with me, Ben.
Ooh. Yikes. Nonetheless, Undertaker pulls up to Andrew and Carl's house because he has some questions, because he noticed that one of the conjoined twins' graves were messed with. Who did he tell the story of Crybaby Lane to? Those two. He had to investigate.
Carl.
What?
What's going on?
Nothing. We didn't do anything.
That was stupid. That was so stupid.
Hey, look!
For some reason, the acting in this moment threw me off. Like, it didn't feel like they did enough takes. They were like, yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, the stutter's fine. It's kind of realistic, right? Artistic decision. Carl makes Andrew swear that they didn't do anything because he doesn't want to get in trouble. So they lie.
Sorry I'm late, Mrs. Hunt. Cookie dough? That's gonna kill the baby.
You're out back in the Rambler.
Who is this girl and why is she kind of serving? Oh my God. I had a moment in time where I wanted to be such an elite Girl Scout, and then I had like a really bad experience. Why am I talking about this? We don't need to get into my Girl Scout experiences. Anyway, she ends up being the first one possessed by the worms.
Man, this is great. I'll go get my bike. Oh, you can't come. What? Because it's a girl? I know a girl for you.
Oh.
She likes you. I'm not going out with your mom. Yeah, but if you marry her, you could be my dad. Oh.
I'm obsessed with Hull's vibe. Fully obsessed with Hull's vibe. I think that he is just my favorite character in this entire movie.
My mom was right about you. You are pathetic.
Andrew's tired of people walking all over him. Andrew's tired of people saying that he's not brave. He's tired of hearing it. So you know what he's going to do? He's going to talk to his crush. Yeah. He's going to go talk to his crush. And Carl is hyping him up to go talk to this girl. However, Carl does decide that it would be a good idea to race the train and risk his life and nearly die. And then he also ends up getting possessed.
There's someone who wants to meet you.
Not that Carl needed to be possessed. He was already pretty evil. The girlies are possessed. Carl's possessed. That's what we need to know. The girls are actually wreaking absolute havoc on the entire town. Carl is getting his just desserts because I do think maybe it would be good for him to get possessed for a little bit. Okay, I'll admit it. I think it would be good for him. And he ends up trapped in this he's like in tunnels. I don't know. He gets trapped below.
Somebody please help me! Help! You're mine. There, Carl.
But then suddenly Carl seems fine. He's like, okay, let's go to the girls. I know where they are, so you can talk to your crush. He takes him to a barn. Andrew's like, they're having a sleepover at the barn, Carl?
Dick! They're gone!
The dad's name is Dick. Hey, if you are, what your name is, am I right? Yeah, the dad's kind of the worst.
You only had sisters. Boys are different. They need to explore. I think it's healthy.
I'm not going to go chase after my children. I'm not going to go see where my children are late at night. They're boys, not children. They're going to be fine. They got to learn how to be in the world. They're not going to, what, you think they're just going to die? Yeah, right. They're boys. They don't. Andrew ends up falling in mud. He has to take off his clothes. And then the girls come and they start egging him. And I'm sure later Andrew will not need to attend therapy for this. So Andrew's literally about to die. But the farmer saves him and he runs home, and more people are just becoming evil and possessed. I still don't know how Andrew keeps getting away with not getting possessed by the worms, but he hasn't yet, despite him being in very close contact. This sound effect threw me back to when me and my childhood best friend would come home and watch A Haunting every single day. Every day. They use this sound effect maybe 45 times per episode. Andrew goes to the Undertaker to tell him everything that happened.
I'm very glad you came. I want to talk to you too. Listen, come over here.
He realized maybe that they did unlock something in that seance. Maybe something is amiss. An Undertaker then locks him in a room. Also, we learn that he is kind of a scammer.
$30 for coffee. Are you trying to exploit us?
I just assumed.
Typical.
It's standard stuff.
An Undertaker who is a scammer. Now, that is a really interesting, unique character that I have not ever seen before. I gotta say, that's really creative.
After the twins died and they were separated, there was a mistake.
And?
The bodies got put into the wrong graves. The good son was buried out in the field, and the evil one was put in the grave where you had your seance last night. I think you roused an evil spirit. And I think everything it comes across turns evil.
So that's why everybody's turning evil. The worms turn people evil. Right.
I'm the one who separated the bodies.
You're making this up.
I know it sounds bad. It is bad. I'm a bad Undertaker.
So we kind of have a little bit of a plot twist, which is kind of cool. Wasn't expecting that, to be honest. The mom picks up Andrew and is really mad. Is like, you're never seeing the Undertaker again. Your brother's going to apologize to you after everything he did. And Andrew's like, he did almost kill me, but okay. Carl's like, sorry, I almost killed you. Will you forgive me? So Gary, the caretaker who was attacked by the dog, is faking his attack. Because I will say, I don't know why he was limping. Yeah, he was faking. And the Undertaker is like, hey, bad luck. What happens with that? And what's with the spirit stuff?
They say every grave has like a weed or a root that grows out of the soul of the dead guy. If you cut the weed, you cut the soul loose, okay?
You cut the soul loose.
Kenneth, who is the Undertaker's nephew, is practicing saying, I'm sorry for your loss, because he works for him and he's just doing his best.
I'm sorry for your loss. That's good.
And Hull, who was missing, is now evil and is casting spells and whacking this man with his lightsaber. Kicks his ass and takes his ring.
Come, my precious.
Best character I've ever seen. Glowing eyes is a little bit scary. I do think maybe if I was a kid, I would get a little creeped out by the glowing eyes. And Carl is going to confront Andrew in the shower, but Andrew's not there. No. Andrew escaped. He's going to the Undertaker, baby. So the Undertaker is passed out from getting attacked by Hull and is low-key acting like he's dying.
I think he's dead. Kenneth, help me. You need a doctor.
No doctors. Coffee.
And he tells Andrew everything he needs to do to release the curse. Doesn't go to help him because he's faking, I think. And tells Andrew, this child, that he needs to go break the curse and cut the root. and sends him on his way. But Kenneth joins him. Shout out Kenneth.
I don't know how to get there!
I do.
Who is kind of a himbo, but I also couldn't tell for a very long time if he was evil. Like, he was running this whole operation.
You've been there before, right?
Oh, sure. It's not so bad. I've been there lots of times.
Spoiler, he's not evil. Just weird and off-putting. So the cops are chasing them down for some reason, and then we learn that the cops are now evil. So now we have a car chase, which I wasn't expecting that. Kind of love. Kenneth claims he knows where Crybaby Lane is and then admits he actually doesn't know where Crybaby Lane is. So they're now in this car chase and they don't know where to go. Finally, they end up discovering Crybaby Lane.
This is it.
Carl is there and Andrew is like, you know what? I'm going to drive. Okay. Like, I don't know how he's driving. He can barely see over the wheel. So they end up in a cornfield and they hear the crying that you hear at Crybaby Lane, which means they're close to the curse, I guess. So then they're being chased now by the corn weed whacker. Don't know what this is called. Grew up around a lot of corn. Still don't know what this is called. Tilling? Corn tiller? Corn weed whacker. So that thing is trying to kill them now. And then they run into the girls. And then we have like this children of the corn moment, which is kind of creepy. So now it seems everybody in the town is evil except the Undertaker, Andrew, Mom, Dad, Kenneth, and Gary. Then they release Becky.
Becky? What are you doing?
Stand still.
And Becky smacks Andrew to the ground. Andrew manages to get away and then takes her out. We got some combat in this movie. And at this point, I have no idea where this movie is going, but they do finally end up back to Crybaby Lane. And the worms are talking, and he teleports underground.
Way to go, Andrew.
Who is it?
And now there's this creep here, and he is scary.
Wait. You gotta see this. I don't want to see anything.
And he's creepy, and this I can't understand being scared of as a child. He's eating the worms, dude. Why are they always eating worms? Stop eating worms in movies 2024, my new campaign. And now Andrew has to escape, and then he's becoming possessed, and he's like, oh, I have to cut the root. Shoot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut the root in time. I'm getting possessed. He's trying to cut the root. And then all of a sudden, he's out of the ground. It's sunny outside, and everything's cool. Okay. Yeah, so we ended up cutting the root, and then everyone's curses have been lifted.
Andrew! What's happening? How did I get here? Stop it! Where is everybody?
It's like a nightmare. It's okay.
Andrew heads home to his evil brother, who is no longer cursed by evil, but is just evil on the inside naturally.
Okay, pay attention to me, Andrew. I'm only going to say this once. I've been doing some thinking, and if you ever tell anyone that I apologize to you, I'm going to deny it, and then I'm going to rip your throat out. That's all.
This is all Carl's fault, by the way. Let's just acknowledge that. So now the Undertaker's telling Kathy, Andrew's crush, and Andrew scary stories.
Kathy, an Undertaker lives a life of intrigue.
True.
Okay, Andrew. He's feeling confident. He's feeling good. And Carl and Hall are now besties, which we love. And that was the movie. That was Crybaby Lane. Apparently, the scariest movie ever aired on Nickelodeon. Was this movie just so diabolically horrific that I'm shocked that it could have ever been aired on Nickelodeon? No. I do just think, with anything, hype got built up, creepypastas being posted about this movie that really hyped up what this movie was, because, you know, people are storytellers at their core, and they want something exciting, they want something crazy, they want something dramatic. Unfortunately, I just think that this movie was not very good. Maybe Nickelodeon got a few complaints from parents about how it was too scary, and they weren't really committed to this movie's success, that they're like, we're just not going to air it again. And after the internet went crazy about finding this movie, a Nickelodeon rep was even like, oh, we just forgot about that movie. Yeah, it wasn't that it was too scary. We just like forgot about it. Now that we don't know if that's the truth, but I could believe it. What's the most fun about this was a fun tale about a piece of lost media being found and it not living up maybe to the hype. I do think it was an interesting movie to watch, and maybe I would have liked it as a child. Maybe I would have been scared. We don't know, because I am not a child anymore. The Worms did tell me earlier that if you guys did subscribe, that good luck would come to you, because I guess worms can also do good things, not just bad things. So I'm making friends with the Worms. They're willing to put some goodness and love and maybe a little bit of pie in your life if you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks again to Love and Pies for sponsoring this video. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching. Talk soon.